The moment I discovered her infidelity, it felt as if time had ceased. A nauseating sensation gripped my stomach, reminiscent of the shock that strikes when one receives devastating news, as though the air has been forcibly knocked from their lungs. It wasn't merely her betrayal that hurt. It was the meticulous way she had concealed it for months. There were no clear indicators, no late-night phone calls, no suspicious actions, just a minute oversight, a message she neglected to erase. One morning while she showered, her phone buzzed, and I glanced at it out of sheer chance. I had no intention of invading her privacy, but the message preview on the screen hit me with the force of a freight train. "Last night was amazing. Can't wait to see you again." My hands shook and my heart raced. Yet, instead of reacting as I had always imagined, confronting her, demanding answers, yelling, breaking things, I found myself paralyzed. Strangely, rather than feeling anger, I experienced an unsettling calm, which unnerved me. Perhaps it was shock, or perhaps something more profound, something deliberate. In that instant, I realized that confronting her would not provide the closure I sought. I was not one to raise my voice. Instead, I desired her to feel the full weight of her actions in a manner that transcended mere confrontation. Thus, I resolved to adopt a long-term strategy. For weeks, I maintained the facade that nothing was amiss. I smiled, kissed her, inquired about her day, and listened to her stories with the same attentiveness as before. It felt as though I were performing in a film, playing a role known only to me. Internally, however, I was strategizing my next steps. I began gathering intelligence, transforming into a detective in my own life, uncovering the details of her affair without her ever suspecting a thing. I learned about Marcus, the man with whom she was involved, a new colleague from her workplace. I even discerned their meeting spots. While they varied, they adhered to a certain routine. Each time she claimed to be working late, I understood precisely what was happening. But I held back from confronting her. Instead, I played along, granting her the freedom to dig her own grave. The more I discovered, the more I recognized that my desire extended beyond mere revenge. I craved control over the situation, the outcome, and my emotions. One night, while she was out with him, I decided it was time for an unexpected move. I did not go to the bar where they met. I did not check her phone again. Instead, I called a locksmith and changed all the locks to our apartment. I carefully packed her belongings into boxes and left them in the hallway. Then I sat at my computer and composed a letter, not one filled with anger or accusations, but rather calm, calculated, and precise. I explained that I was aware of everything, how I discovered the truth, how long I had known, and how I had silently observed her betrayal while she believed she was deceiving me. I expressed that I did not harbor hate towards her. I simply could not coexist with someone who did not value honesty and loyalty. I wished her well but made it clear that she would not be returning home that night or ever again. I printed the letter, placed it on the kitchen counter, and then texted her. "I know your things are in the hallway. The locks have been changed. Check the kitchen counter for my letter. Goodbye." After sending it, I switched off my phone, unwilling to hear her excuses, apologies, or tears. I was indifferent to the drama that would inevitably ensue. I had taken control, and that was all I needed. Yet I was not finished. I refused to walk away without ensuring she understood the full implications of her actions. Her affair had not merely been a secret between them. It had infiltrated our mutual social circles. She had introduced him to some of our friends under the guise of just being a colleague. Many of them were aware of him, and some might have even suspected something, but none had mentioned it to me. I had been the oblivious boyfriend in their eyes, until now. The following day, I organized a party, inviting all our friends, including those who knew her. But here's the twist. I also invited Marcus. I wanted them all present. Her friends, my friends, their mutual acquaintances. I wanted them to witness what I was about to unveil. She remained oblivious, still grappling with the consequences of being locked out of her own home. As guests arrived, I played the perfect host, serving drinks, sharing laughter, engaging in casual conversations. None suspected anything was amiss. When everyone settled, I called for attention, standing in the center of the room with my glass raised. Silence enveloped the space as guests awaited a toast, but what followed was far from celebratory. "I want to thank everyone for coming tonight," I began, my voice steady. "Before we continue with the evening, there's something I must address." I turned to Marcus, locking eyes with him. He appeared confused and slightly anxious, unaware of the impending revelation. "Marcus," I declared, my voice clear, "I know you've been sleeping with my girlfriend." The room fell silent. You could hear a pin drop. Marcus turned pale, his glass trembling in his grip. "I've known for quite some time," I continued, maintaining my composure. "I'm not here to yell or fight. I'm simply here to inform you that I've decided to move on. I've already removed her, changed the locks, and now I plan to enjoy the rest of my life without either of you in it." Marcus stuttered, searching for words, but nothing emerged. The guests were frozen, uncertain whether to stay or leave. The tension was palpable, yet I remained unfazed. "I hope you two find happiness together," I concluded, raising my glass once more, for I certainly would not be present to witness it. With that, I turned and exited the room, leaving them in stunned silence. I never looked back. Ultimately, I realized that confronting her directly would have only led to further pain and drama. Instead, I seized control of my own narrative, ensuring she and everyone else recognized who wielded the power. As I